Hello, everybody, and welcome to our presentation today. Today, we're going to virtually visit the Caribbean island of Barbados. Barbados has everything that you would want in a Caribbean vacation: lush tropical foliage and flowers, top-notch restaurants, great sightseeing, including a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So before we get started today, I have a few tips for any of our new viewers. This is a live presentation, so there may be moments where your screen freezes. Please be patient. And if you wait about 30 seconds, it'll correct itself, or it should correct itself. If you are viewing today on a handheld device, you may want to unlock your screen view and turn your device sideways to landscape mode, and that's going to give you the best view of the presentation today. You're also welcome to take screenshots. Sometimes we do have websites or contact information up on the screen, and you may want to keep that info for future reference. It'd be much easier and quicker than writing it down. We do also have a Q&A chat that's available on the right-hand side of your screen. And if you post a question to that Q&A chat, at the end of the presentation, we have a Q&A session with our experts, and they will answer the questions for you at that time. So, all right, we're going to get started. Barbados, here we come. Joining us today, we have John from the Barbados Tourist Board, and we also have Amanda, who's one of the fantastic agents in the Saskatoon, Saskatchewan SellOffVacations office. Thanks for joining us today, John. Oh, you might need to unmute yourself. Yeah, just need to unmute yourself. That little button with the microphone on it. You can just click that button with the microphone, John. John? Oh, maybe Kim will just go to the video. We've got a video first and we'll get John unmuted.
Hi, am I joining you?
Oh, yeah, you've unmuted yourself. That's great, John. Thank you.
I was hitting the button, but it wasn't responding. But anyway, delighted to be here and a very warm welcome from beautiful Barbados, as we say, in Barbados.
Awesome. So, John, can I ask you a question? Is Barbados reopened for business?
I am delighted to advise you that as of July the 12th, yes, Barbados is open for business. Indeed, Air Canada out of Toronto was the first, or one of the first flights to arrive in Barbados. We're open for business, very much so, with a big, big welcome sign, albeit we are guided very deliberately by all of the protocols as we would be practicing right here in Canada.
Okay. So can you tell
masks?
Yeah.
I will suggest for clients thinking Barbados, very necessary to update protocols. It's in the computer. Your friendly travel agent can advise. We can advise at Barbados Tourism, but there are requirements that you have a confirmed test to declare that you are negative, and you carry that certificate with you. You have to get that 3 days prior departure from Canada. If you arrive in Barbados without that certificate, you could be delayed quite some time because you will be retested and we have to wait for the results, et cetera, et cetera. So please, bearing in mind there are still many changes going on as we become more advised of the pandemic.
Yeah, some of those rules and regulations are changing on a daily basis, so Absolutely. Always best to double check just before you go.
Absolutely.
So Barbados, it is a very popular destination for Canadians. Can you tell the viewers today what it is that draws travelers to Barbados?
I'm always delighted to say that the best feedback I have, it's the people of Barbados. Very warm, friendly, welcoming Barbadians, or Bajans, as we call people living in Barbados, from Barbados. There are many, many folks, when you talk to local citizens who have relatives in Canada. I've never spoken to anybody who hasn't got somebody up here in Canada. So I find them very welcoming, very interested in what we have in this huge country of ours compared to a little island, 21 miles by 14 miles at the widest point. So you understand there's a lot of interest and very easy to talk to. When you say you come from Canada, you know my sister in Edmonton. Try to figure out that I live in Halifax. It's a big, big distance. But it always is a very welcoming opportunity to chat with a Bayesian.
Okay, that's excellent. So what are some of the absolute must-see and must-do things in Barbados?
I like to tell you that there is absolutely something for everybody in Barbados. As tiny as we are, we're a very diversified island coast to coast, i.e. north to south, east to west. The accommodation is largely on the west coast and the southeast coast. I like to say that the east coast belongs to Mother Nature. Absolutely beautiful. You have to see it. We do not swim on the east coast because of dangerous undercurrents, but to see it is absolutely remarkable. So my biggest advice for guests coming into Barbados, please see everything. We're 21 miles by 14 miles, very, very tiny island. You can traverse the island, I would say, readily in 4 to 5 hours, and then go back to the spots you really like.
Okay. Are there some highlights of any sightseeing activities that are there?
I would not go to Barbados without visiting Plantation Houses. I love history myself, and British discovered, if you will, Barbados in the early 1600s, and it became part of the British colonial. We have our independence from Britain by 50 plus years, but there's still a huge affinity with Britain. We have our own historic sites such as the Parliament, one of the oldest in our hemisphere outside of Britain. It's very, very old. We practice British law, we practice British many things, including the afternoon cup of tea. Lots of fun things to do. If you're a history buff, we have many museums, and we love to share our history. We have things like Harrison's Cave, absolutely unique to Barbados. In fact, there's a shot of Harrison's Cave right now. You go down in a little train about 150 feet underground. Absolutely a remarkable part of Mother Nature. And you see the stalactites, stalagmites. It's well lit to show everything, how pretty things are. I like to see the plantation houses. We're looking at St. Nicholas Abbey right now. Very beautiful old plantation home, remodeled to its former dignity, if you will. Sunbury Plantation's another plantation. St. Nicholas Abbey, there's no religious connotation there. It just happens to be the name given it many, many years ago. All the other things on the island, we have horse racing. It's amazing how they run, but you have to remember they were born in those conditions, so they're easy to run. We have everything from all of the sports that we do in Canada, with the exception of ice hockey.
Okay.
Sophisticated ice is for drinks in Barbados. But we do have grass hockey. Our equivalent of hockey, of course, is cricket, the old British style cricket. We have everything from tennis. We love our sports. We have many competitions. We encourage international competition. So many things, so many activities. On the water, under the water, we have our own submarine, a real submarine that goes down to about 150 feet.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, it's if you've never been on a real submarine, go on our submarine. It was actually built in Vancouver, for your information. We love our sport so much. Run Barbados is a traditional, while I'm talking here, it's also going through my mind. So many things have changed because of the current conditions with the pandemic.
Right.
Everything is optional, whether we're going to have things. Virtually everything has been canceled to the end of this year, not unlike again in Canada. But for folks who love to run, there are many runners who virtually run around the world, and we have Run Barbados the first weekend in every December, traditionally. Whether we'll do it this year, I suggest we won't. But something to put a pin in it for later on, as we say.
Okay. So where would you recommend that a traveler would stay if they want to be close to some shopping, restaurants, and entertainment? What area of Barbados?
There are two prominent areas, and it's one of the questions I always ask visitors. I ask them a lot of questions before I can give them one answer, same as you do in your role as a travel agent. And if it's of an age group that likes lots of jump up, lots of shopping, as you say, lots of activities, I recommend the South Coast. St. Lawrence Gap is an icon in Barbados. We have lots of nightlife, lots of life activity, everything from soca bars to piano bars to big local jump up bars. If you want a quieter environment, possibly the West Coast.
Okay.
It's a little more serene, including the water. We're on the lee of the island, so the swimming is a little easier for those that don't like rough water, for example. It can get pretty heavy swells on the south coast, where we have the confluence, if you will, with the Atlantic Ocean coming into the Mediterranean.
Okay. I do know that all-inclusive resorts are not quite as popular in Barbados as they are elsewhere. But if I did want to go to an all-inclusive, are there options for me?
Very many options. We have something like 17, 18 all-inclusives that have been added over the last years. They're again listening to the needs and demands of the traveler. Yep. Many people like all-inclusive, especially if traveling with young families. One readily comes to mind, one of my favorites is Sugar Bay on the south coast. The parent hotel of that is Bougainvillea,
right.
Where they give you an option on certain times of the year if you want all-inclusive, or there again, if you want to break your holiday down, half all-inclusive, and then the rest of your trip, go dine around. We are the gastronomical center, we like to call ourselves, of the Caribbean, and there are some delightfully appointed hotels serving all types of food that you could possibly ever want in Halifax, New York, or wherever. Just that we're small, so we don't have hundreds of one type of restaurant.
Yeah.
But so there again, you see, you can make half your holiday all-inclusive at the nice hotel restaurants, and then dine around for the balance of your hotel. So all kinds of ways of doing it.
Yeah. So if I'm doing the dine around, what are the food and drink items that I must try when I'm visiting Barbados?
Well, when you're in Barbados, you've got to eat Barbados Bajan, our iconic flying fish.
Okay.
It doesn't virtually fly, but if you were being chased by a predator, you come out of the water flapping your wings. So the fish is about 12 inches long, and it has there it is right there. Delightful little thing, and to escape the predator, it virtually flaps those gills, extended gills, and flies. You've got to have a cutter, which is a flying fish, cooked, usually pan-fried, in between a roll with some additional bits and pieces. There you have a cutter. That is our iconic dish of Barbados. Having said that, anything that you desire is on the menu.
Lots of seafood, I would imagine, like
very much seafood.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, we eat a lot of chicken, we eat a lot of vegetables, and of course we eat fish. We are surrounded by water, and we eat fish.
And rum punch. I've heard there's lots of rum punch.
Well washed down with good rum punch. And wines, and every hotel has an international selection of wines.
All right. And usually the next thing that people want to do when they're on vacation is shop. Are there any items that are specific to purchase in Barbados?
Yes, we have some wonderful artisans on the island. Everything from weaving to pottery. We have some marvelous potters on the island. We have local clay that's found in Barbados. That's what I would shop for, especially bring it back as gifts. The local crafts. absolutely beautiful. And of course, you've got to come back with some rum.
Of course.
Absolutely.
All right. So is it easy to get around when you're staying on the island? Would I need to rent a car, or is there local transportation that I can take?
Absolutely. Starting with public transportation, always an adventure to take the little buses that are privately owned, and will stop on a dime because the more people that they pick up on the route. There's a typical little bus, and they'll stop. You don't need a bus stop. If you put your hand out, they'll stop for you. Then we had the traditional city buses, this type of bus that goes all around the island. Good schedules. You can literally go right around the island, maybe with a few changes of buses, but you can do it.
Okay.
Certainly rent a car. This is a little mini moke you were just looking at there, the yellow car.
Mm-hmm.
You climb into it. It's like a little Jeep with a Surrey on the top, if you will, as much to keep away the sun off the back of your neck as the rain. But easily rented, and because we are so small, the rental car will come to you at the phone call. It'll be delivered to your accommodation, hotel, wherever you're staying. On the strength of a Canadian driver's license, you can rent a car.
Okay. And do they drive on the opposite side of the road?
We drive on the right side, which is the left side. But if you get on the left side, please, please, please get back on the right side. Or rather, I should say, if you get on the right side, get back on the left side.
Right. So a little bit of the British tradition there too.
Very much so. Very much so.
All right. So if I'm doing taxis or I'm shopping, what sort of currency would I need to use?
Very good point. Very good point. Please do not change your Canadian dollars into US dollars, because you will obviously pay the exchange rate in Canada. When you get down there, it's always best to deal in local currency. We have a Barbados dollar. 2 Barbados dollars equals 1 US dollar.
Okay. So just to clarify,
will exchange your Canadian dollars for you very easily at the daily established bank rate. And talking banks, we have Royal Bank on the island, CIBC, in the guise of First Caribbean Bank, but they still show the orange and the magenta color, so that identifies CIBC, and also Scotiabank.
All right, so you'd be able to use your debit at the ATMs there as well too.
Absolutely, and that is probably the most secure way, so you don't have to carry a lot of money. You carry your little friendly debit card, put it in the ATM. If you take out $100, you will take out 100 Barbados dollars, or the equivalent of 50 US dollars.
Yeah, and I've done that a few times on holidays. I've used my ATM, and it always gives me a thrill because it spits out your bank balance in the other currency, which usually pads it a little bit. Makes it seem like you have a little bit more money than you do.
Right up.
So is English widely spoken on the island?
English is our language, yes. There is a local patois, if you will. I defy anybody from Canada to stand at a taxi rank and listen to the fellows and girls waiting for fares. They're invariably playing checkers or drafts, dominoes. Dominoes is the prevalent game. And they're excited, and they're talking politics, and they're talking very fast. I don't understand the thing they say, but it is English.
Okay. And
it's part of the fun. It's part of the fun of discovering that there are other places than Canada.
That's right. So when's the best time to go so I don't, I'm not there during rainy season or hurricane season?
Interesting comment. You know, the world is climate change we hear about it all the time, and it is very evident, and it does not miss the likes of Barbados. Traditionally, our rainy season would be late August, September, October, into that area, but it doesn't always hold to form anymore. We haven't had snow in Barbados yet, but we do have a lot of difference in weather patterns that we used to be used to. Not unlike Canada.
Right. Okay. So when would you say, what are the best months to go?
I would mention high season when the consumer demand and prices go up traditionally around the world. Our high season is December the 15th through to April the 15th. When Easter is over, the kids have gone back to school, etc. Then there's a hiatus. That traditionally is where prices released a little. They come down. You get more value for your dollar, if you will.
Right.
There again, depending, teachers have to go in the March break.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
right.
that's a given, and we have a lot of teachers arrive in Barbados in the March school break. Very popular time, yes.
Yeah.
But
so
to
now
answer
there's
the question, 352 days a year, perfect. All perfect to go to Barbados.
That's great. And like you said, no snow. So that's always a plus on my list, no snow. So now I know you've been many, many times. There's tons of beaches in Barbados. Which are your favorite beaches in Barbados?
Well, I mentioned to you that my favorite beach, you've got a picture right up on the screen where the rough water indicates you're on the East Coast. I love the East Coast. Very few people there, per se. We have very, very sparse accommodation there. We have one hotel on the East Coast. So me and Mother Nature, that's my favorite beach, the whole strip, if you will, for 21 miles. But on the South Coast, very close to Bridgetown, our capital, on the South Coast, you have Carlisle Bay, which is just a joy, a very safe harbor, if you will, for sailboats. There again on the lee of the island. I think that might be Carlisle Bay, one end of Carlisle Bay right there. Paynes Bay, Bottoms Bay, there are so many beaches. We are virtually surrounded, and I would make a point that all of our beaches in Barbados are public. There's no such thing as a private beach. So at interludes, especially on the West Coast and the South Coast, there are public areas accessing the beach. But if you want to walk past hotels, you're quite able to do so. It's a public beach.
That's good to know. So last question I have for you, John, what is your best insider tip that you can tell a first timer going to Barbados?
See the whole island. I repeat that over and over again. Now, having said that, we all have different likes and dislikes. Having talked through it, it's obvious there is something for everybody in Barbados. Whether you like the horseback racing, the pedigree, whatever they call it, racing, thoroughbred, that's the word.
Yep.
Thoroughbred racing. There's a time of year to go. Would you know we have a bridge contest every year? A bridge tournament, which is international. So you have to dig deep for these things, but it's all in that friendly computer of ours, and we just have so much to offer. If you like the water, you've got to take a catamaran ride up the West Coast. Absolute must. It's just a joy. And because we are so small, we pick you up at the hotel and take you to the harbor where you board one of the many catamarans. Lunch is included. There's an open bar. It's sit back and just relax. And it's another way of seeing Barbados from the water side as opposed to being land side looking out of water. Gotta take a catamaran ride. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, John, and thanks for all the great insight on Barbados. We'll have you back when we are up at the Q&A. Up next, we've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we've got Amanda, who is an agent in our Saskatoon, office. And Amanda, I know that you enjoyed your time in Barbados. Can you please share your experiences there with us?
For sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda, and I work in the Saskatoon branch. I've been a travel consultant for 16 years and with SellOffVacations for over 4 years. I visited Barbados while I sailed on a Royal Caribbean cruise on board the Serenade of the Seas. I've been on many different cruises and seen lots of ports of call, and Barbados is definitely one of my favorites. You dock right outside the capital city of Bridgetown. You can easily walk right into town. It's about a mile and a 15-minute walk. In the cruise terminal, you can pick up a map and the staff can assist you with directions if you have somewhere specific you'd like to go. You can take a taxi or the local bus. The cruise terminal itself has lots of shops and rum sampling. I walked by some super cute outdoor bars. I went on one excursion called Beach Break. I chose this as seeing the local beaches for me is a must. It was around 3 hours. It's just a short drive from the pier to Carlisle Bay. There was a welcome cocktail of rum punch waiting for me. There are tons of beach chairs and umbrellas to use. You can buy cold beverages and there are beach vendors selling all kinds of local goods. They have sarongs and magnets and keychains, all the little good stuff that the islands have. I soaked up the sun and enjoyed the pristine beach. The water is so clear and there was no seaweed. I've seen many beaches over the years and this is definitely one of the nicest that I've actually seen. I would say that I'm a bit of a beach connoisseur. When I got home, I Googled Carlisle Bay and saw that it was one of the top beaches in the Caribbean and in Barbados, so I'm so glad that I went there. After finishing at the beach, it was a quick drive back to the cruise ship. I quickly changed and took a taxi into town to do some shopping. I had to get my duty-free bottle of Malibu Rum, and they have a distillery there, which if you're into that kind of thing, you can totally take a tour of the distillery factory. A liter of rum was around $14 US. They packaged it up for you and the cruise line holds it until the end of the cruise. You can't take the bottle on board or drink it, anything like that. And then they just give it to you on the last day. I also bought the typical souvenirs and jewelry as that's what I always collect on holiday. Barbados is a gorgeous country with some of the nicest people and lots to offer. It is one of the furthest southern Caribbean islands, not too far off the coast of Venezuela. One of the things that I wish I could have taken in is the Oystins fish fry, which is every Friday and Saturday night. There are lots of local vendors and island music fills the air. It's such a must-do for Barbados. Definitely put Barbados on your list of countries to visit. It's the home of Rihanna, and who doesn't love Rihanna? I'd love to help you plan a cruise or a vacation here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda. Shannon, I believe you joined us from your holidays today, and you're going to help us out with the Q&A.
I did, yes. I was away for a few days, enjoying some beaches in Nova Scotia, so enjoy that here while we're during the pandemic. It's nice to travel around your own province for sure. So I do have some questions that came in today for sure. Quite a few are going to come for you, John, but I do have a few for Amanda as well. So we'll get started with those. The first one I have here, John, for you, and we did speak about this a bit, and I did write a comment there, but when is hurricane season there? I mean, I think hurricane season is between May, June, and November officially, but probably the more active months would be September, October, and maybe even August. But if you want to speak to that a little more, John. You just have to unmute yourself, John.
Oh, John, are you able to unmute yourself?
I think he's trying there. Amanda, I can ask you a question while he's getting his unmute off there. Is there a country exit tax to be paid at the airport?
I do not believe so. I'd have to double check. I was just there on a cruise, but I don't think that there's a departure tax for Barbados.
No. No, I think to my knowledge there's not either. So we'll get John to confirm that for sure, but I'm pretty positive that that's the case. And Amanda, would you be able to speak about what the weather would be like in October?
Yes, so Barbados has really good year-round weather. So October, the temperature would typically be 24, 25 with a high of maybe 27.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that would be the tail end of hurricane season, but certainly some nice weather as well. John, I see you're unmuted there now. That's great. Yep, for sure.
I'm back on. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. So we'll come back to that. Yeah, the hurricane question.
Full-blown hurricane that Barbados suffered was 1955.
Okay.
Oh,
We are the most easterly of the Caribbean. We are 100 miles east of our nearest neighbors, which would be St. Lucia, the Grenadines, and Grenada.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever really explained to me why, but hurricanes, bless them, they miss us. They come very, very close if they spawn, as they usually are in the mid-Atlantic off the coast of Africa, and they come east, and they come very close to our shoreline. They dip down below us, they'll come above us. We have heavy rains. We get a tropical depression, if you will, but very, very seldom do we have severe hurricanes. As I say, the last severe was 1955, and that came up from South America, a different one.
Okay. Well, that's some
Having
good
said
insight.
that, hurricanes are the will of themselves. They go anywhere, everywhere. As you know, Canada, certainly Nova Scotia, we got the tail ends of some hurricanes.
Right.
So we like to say we're blessed.
Yeah,
in many
for
ways,
sure.
that hurricanes do not hit us on as they do, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, that's positive. That's some good insight, John. Thank you for that. Another question for you. Someone asked, is there good snorkeling in Barbados?
Excellent snorkeling. And there again, we would snorkel preferably on the west coast. It can get pretty choppy, the water, the heavy swells, which obviously is going to bring up sand, which is coral sand. We are a coral island, a full coral island.
Right.
And the west coast would be ideal for snorkeling because it's very, very calm. And indeed, I should have mentioned while we're talking snorkeling, when you go out on the catamaran, they stop halfway up the west coast, and we snorkel with the turtles. Where that's our thing in Barbados. I didn't mention that, but it's just a joy to come face to face with a hawksbill or a greenback or a leatherback turtle.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
They come back every year. Same place.
Oh, wow.
Every year. It's amazing.
Is there a certain time of year they come?
Yes, and I'm trying to think hard when it is. And you got me there. I don't know.
That's okay.
Many times I have helped the little turtles turning them around, because if they're hatched at nighttime, they go for the light. And where is the light? By the swimming pool. We don't want them in the swimming pool. So we have what we call a turtle watch, where we invite our guests, our visitors, to be there when the turtles, and turn them around if necessary, head them out to water.
Okay, perfect. I'd love to experience that sometime. John, I do have a few others for you as well. Now, I know you spoke about this a little bit at the beginning about COVID. Someone just asked, what is the current COVID situation? They may have missed the beginning, or maybe just want a few more details. I know you said that they require a positive test within 3 days of arrival. Is there any
a negative test?
I apologize. A negative test. My
negative
goodness.
test, yes.
Yeah, a negative test within 3 days of arrival. Is there anything else they should expect? I know there would be certain protocols when they arrive, such as masks, and just as at most of the airports. But is there anything else? Yeah.
Wherever there is a public gathering, we insist on masks, the hand washing, the social distancing, not unlike we're experienced right here in Canada. It's taken very, very seriously in Barbados. When you leave the hotel, yes, you wear a mask to go into the stores, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Yeah.
To talk about the actual, with a population of 286,000 ballpark, we've had 110 known identified cases, and unfortunately we've lost under 10 people.
Oh wow. Well,
So
that's
we have
positive for
jumped on
sure.
it very, very quickly. Our government has listened to our experts, our health experts.
Sounds like it. Yeah, amazing.
We're going to keep it that way.
Awesome. I did just quickly look up about the turtles there while you were speaking. It looks like the hatching runs between mid-July through mid-October, if anybody's wondering.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
so
problem.
If you miss it in July, come back in October.
That's right.
It's fun. It really is fun to be part of
sure.
Such a wonderful experience as seeing these little turtles hatch.
Yeah. John, someone else mentioned, they said, are the plantation houses, botanical gardens, and entertainments open now or anticipated in the fall? And if so, how are they handling entry? Do they need to pre-book?
And I'm going to have to answer you that with a bit of a query, Shannon. It's a wait and see game. You know, we make decisions and then we can change decisions if it's not the right decision in the first place, which is exactly what we're doing at home. And I'm sorry to be so vague, but there is no answer.
No, that's okay.
Everything is open or everything is closed.
It's good to be upfront about that. And, you know, things are ever changing for everywhere, right? So,
and, you know, we invite guests to come see us very, very definitely. We're very dependent on tourism coming to our island, but we also insist that tourists follow our rules, which are no different from where they've just left.
Yeah.
If you're certainly talking Canada.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you for that. A couple more for you, John, if you don't mind.
That's my pleasure.
We have a little bit more time here, so can you speak about the types of food, entertainment, and cultural events available around the island? I know you probably spoke of a few within the presentation, but anything that comes to mind there?
Absolutely. We love our festivals. Our biggest one each year is Crop Over. Now, there again, because of COVID pandemic, these didn't happen this year for obvious reasons. But hopefully they'll pick up again because they've been the tradition for many, many, many years. Crop Over is literally the gathering of the sugar cane, which is a major crop, of course, is taken in, and it goes back historically where one day was awarded the workers. And now that has changed into July and August when we use it as a celebration. A lot of expatriates, certainly living in Canada, come home to Barbados and participate in big street parties, lots of activities, calypso contests, steel pan contests, etc., etc., etc. Unfortunately, there again, Shannon, that didn't happen this year. But hopefully next year it'll be there.
For sure. Sounds like there's lots of options for different types of things people are looking for. So that's great. That's a great draw for the island as well.
We love our festivals. We have an Independence Day, November the 30th, which is traditionally a very big day where we include tourists if they want to be part of that. But they're again subdued this year because of. On the cultural side, we have an opera season, we have a jazz season, we have a steel pan competition season, we have a gospel season. So we have so much to offer. And I already mentioned we have a bridge contest every year, you know, which we invite people from around the world to join us.
Okay, excellent. Perfect. Thanks, John, for that answer. That was helpful. Someone else mentioned here that they would actually be traveling from Waterloo, Ontario. What would they expect arriving at the airport regarding COVID testing? So I think I can just answer that one. I think we already addressed that, but basically you need to have a negative test within 3 days again. So, and then the next one here, John, is how safe would Barbados be? And I know the answer to that, but I'm going to let you answer it.
Okay. I'm delighted to tell you we are considered a very, very safe island. Having said that, And I should add, we don't tell you to stay on the property after dark. No, no, we encourage you to come out. Sun come up at 6, the sun goes to bed at 6. Every
Right.
day of the year, standard time. Never changes. But after 6, that's when we encourage. You've probably been on the beach. You've probably been sports activities, whatever. So
Yeah.
the gentlemen, ladies dress up in cool cottons. Men wear dress shirt, or rather a short sleeve shirt and pants, long pants. Ladies, cotton ships, whatever you call them. So you feel good. Then you go out and have fun. You have a nice dinner. We listen to music. There might be most hotels in high season certainly will have entertainment at the hotels. I mentioned the St. Lawrence Gap where there's always nightlife. There again, with the conditions of COVID, maybe not so much right now for obvious reasons.
But you would say the island is safe in general for people to explore?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
You would say the island is safe for people to explore, though?
Very, very, very safe.
Safe,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, I'm very proud to tell you with my association over the last 20 odd years, but I have been flying down to Barbados for many, many years, and I have never personally felt alien. And traveling with a wife and young children on occasion, I had never felt alien in a situation, any situation, and I'm very
Right.
proud to say that.
That's great. Perfect. And I had asked a question to Amanda. I'm pretty sure we knew the answer, but I'll just address it with you just to make sure that our audience has the correct information. Is there a country exit tax to be paid at the airport when departing Barbados?
There is not.
No.
There is-
Okay.
There is a tax that's built in to the airfare. So it's a buried tax, if you will, which is most parts of the world. We used to have a separate tax, but that's rather offensive to the tourists when you think you're paying out additional monies. So there are taxes, certainly there are taxes, because that's how we maintain our airport and security and safety, etc., as we do departure taxes from Canada. But
Yeah.
it is a buried tax.
Okay.
Does that
Perfect.
answer your question?
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much. And just while you're still there, just in relation to the safety again, someone specifically asked, they've traveled to Aruba before, and they experience a sense of safety traveling there. Is Barbados similar, and can they travel around to the various beaches and feel safe, like on their own? I assume that's the same answer, but just to kind of direct it at the beaches, like exploring the beaches themselves.
I wouldn't dream of driving around in the middle of the night on any island, let
Of
alone
course.
Barbados. You don't do that at home, certainly as you get
Yeah.
older. You know, it's just not the demand for that.
Yeah.
But I probably have been on every beach on that island many, many times. And I have to reiterate, I have never once felt alien, whether I have been
Okay.
on my own, with my family, with friends. And
Okay.
I'm proud to say that.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
consider it a very safe island. We're very well policed. Our
Yeah.
police are not armed. They just
Okay.
carry big sticks. But, you know, it's comforting to see a policeman who
For sure.
approaches a tourist and says hello and welcome.
Yeah,
It's comforting.
well, it's fantastic because I mean,
Yeah.
there certainly are some islands around that we wouldn't feel as safe, on beaches
Exactly.
outside
I
outside of
don't
the
have to
resort. So that's
exaggerate that
awesome. Yeah,
other than what I've
Yeah.
said. I
Perfect.
consider Barbados is traditionally known as a very safe island,
Yeah.
welcoming island.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, John, I think that was the last of the questions for yourself tonight. Thank you. I do have one I'm going to put to Amanda here, and then I think that will finish up our questions for the night. Amanda, do Canadians require visas to enter Barbados?
No, just your valid Canadian passport with expiry 6 months past your return date.
Okay, that's excellent. Yeah, I think that was all I had for questions tonight. That was great. There's some really great information there. Thank you, everybody. I'll put it back to Sherry here now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shannon. Thank you again, John, and thank you, Amanda, for helping us out tonight and teaching us about Barbados. We featured so many great destinations over the last few months. I know I myself am going to be putting Barbados on the top of my must-see list when I'm ready to travel again.
Good to hear.
Thank you to all the viewers for joining me today. If you have posted a question and it didn't get answered, Shannon will be on the chat function for about 10 minutes after the presentation to answer those questions. You are more than welcome to call SellOffVacations tonight. They're open until 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can reach one of the agents at 1-877-735-5633. As well, you can reach Amanda directly by emailing her at saskatoon@selloffvacations.com, and I know she would love to hear from you. So today's presentation will be posted on our YouTube channel. We have recorded it, and our YouTube channel is MySellOffVacations. On our channel, you can also view any of our past presentations, as well as the latest resort and airline COVID safety videos that are up there. So next week, we're going to go all the way to the other side of Canada and go off the coast of Canada and into the Pacific, and we're going to be learning about Hawaii. So join me next week, next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to learn all about the Hawaiian Islands. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you.